God was already in Jericho, before the spies arrived, before the walls fell, before Israel crossed the Jordan. He was already there, working in a house on the city wall, in the heart of a woman nobody would have predicted, preparing the way for something she could only half see. That is how God always works. He arrives before we do. Sunday, week 12. Reflection. Already there. Joshua is one of the most action-packed books in the Bible. Rivers parting, walls falling, the sun standing still over Gibeon, 31 kings defeated, a whole nation receiving their inheritance tribe by tribe, family by family, name by name. It is easy to read Joshua as a book about what Israel did. The marching, the fighting, the obedience that brought the walls down, and the disobedience that got 36 men killed at Ai. But underneath all the action is a quieter story. A story about what God was doing before anyone arrived. Before the first soldier set foot on the west bank of the Jordan. Before the first trumpet sounded outside Jericho. God was already there. He is always already there. Rahab knew before the spies told her anything. She had heard the stories. The Red Sea, Sihon and Og, the God who parted water and destroyed armies and led 2 million people through a desert without losing them. The whole city of Jericho had heard the same stories. The whole city was melting in fear, but Rahab did something with what she heard that nobody else in Jericho did. She believed it, not just as information, as reality, as something that required a response. She looked at the evidence, the same evidence everyone else in the city had, and she made a decision. This God is real. This people is going to take this city, and I am going to put everything I have on the side of what is real. The scarlet cord was not a lucky charm. It was a confession of faith made visible in a window. She had no Torah, no Sinai, no covenant history, no circumcision, no Passover meal. She had rumors and a rope and a decision that her life and the lives of everyone she loved depended on which side of the wall she was standing on when the walls came down. She chose the right side. And God, who had been working in her long before the spies arrived, honored it completely. Rahab is in the genealogy of Jesus. Matthew chapter 1 lists her by name. The prostitute from Jericho who hung a scarlet cord in her window is a direct ancestor of the Son of God. The cord held further than she ever imagined. Who in your life is further along in faith than their history suggests they have any right to be? Are you paying attention? Or have you already decided who God can and cannot use? Achan's sin is one of the most uncomfortable stories in Joshua precisely because it is so ordinary. He didn't plan to destroy Israel. He didn't walk through the rubble of Jericho thinking, I will bring down the whole campaign with what I'm about to do. He saw something beautiful. He wanted it. He took it. He buried it under his tent floor and told himself it would be fine. It was not fine. 36 soldiers died at Ai before anyone knew why. The whole army fled. Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down before the ark and cried out to God. And God's answer was not comfort. It was, stand up. There is sin in the camp. Deal with it. The hidden thing had consequences that reached far beyond Achan's tent. His family paid for it. His neighbors paid for it. 36 men who had nothing to do with a Babylonian robe and 200 shekels of silver paid for it with their lives. This is the part of the story we most want to argue with. Surely the consequences were disproportionate. Surely 36 men dying for one man's secret is unfair. But the story is not making a point about fairness. It is making a point about reality. Hidden sin never stays contained. It spreads, quietly, completely. Until it is brought into the light, the valley is still called Achor, trouble. Thousands of years later, the name holds because the lesson holds. What you bury does not stay buried. It never does. Is there something in your life right now, in your marriage, your finances, your history, that is buried under the floor? What would it cost to bring it into the light? What is it already costing you to keep it hidden? The commander of the Lord's army appeared outside Jericho with a drawn sword. Joshua asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" Neither. That answer has troubled readers for centuries. What does it mean that God is neither for Israel nor for their enemies? Isn't he on Israel's side? Didn't he promise them this land? Yes, and the answer is still neither. Because God does not take sides. He is not a weapon to be aimed. He is not a flag to be carried into battle by whichever army claims him loudest. He is not for Israel in the sense of being Israel's instrument. He is pursuing his own purposes, which include Israel, which run through Israel, which will bless the whole world through Israel, but which belong to him and not to them. The question Israel should have been asking was not, "Are you for us?" It was, "Are we for you?" The commander came to lead the battle, not to join it, not to endorse it, to command it. Take off your sandals. This is holy ground. The same words Moses heard at the burning bush, the same posture required. Before any battle, before any strategy, before any plan, stop. Take off your sandals. You are standing in the presence of the one who goes before you. Israel won every battle they were supposed to win when they remembered this. They lost the moment they forgot it. At Ai, in the Gibeonite negotiation, in every compromise that followed. The question is never, is God on my side? The question is always, am I on his? Because God is not something we use. He is someone we follow. Where in your life are you asking God to endorse your plan rather than submitting to his? When did you last stop? Take off your sandals, so to speak, before moving forward? Darnell didn't choose what he inherited. He did not choose to find Constance standing at the front of a recovery circle on a Wednesday evening. Both of them arrived in his first week uninvited and unannounced. That is what inherited leadership looks like. You do not get to choose your starting conditions. You do not get a clean slate. You get the institution as it actually is, with its hidden things still buried, its Rahab still sitting in the back row, its promises still waiting to be honored. Joshua didn't get a clean slate either. He got a people with 40 years of wilderness habits. He got a Gibeonite treaty made in a moment of carelessness. He got Achan's Valley of Trouble in his first campaign, and he also got Rahab, already in the genealogy, already in the land, already on the right side of the wall before any Israelite soldier arrived. The new leader's job is not to build something from nothing. It is to be faithful with what was handed to them, to bring the hidden things into the light, to honor the promises that were made before they arrived, to recognize the Rahabs God placed in the path long before the handover happened, and to ask God before making treaties with people in worn-out sandals. What have you inherited in your family, your workplace, your church, your community? That needs to be brought into the light. What promise was made before you arrived that you are responsible for honoring? 400 years, that is how long the promise of the land was just a promise. Abraham heard it. Isaac carried it. Jacob passed it to his 12 sons going down into Egypt. 400 years of slavery, 40 years of wilderness, 7 years of war, and then the land divided. Tribe by tribe, clan by clan, family by family. Every name written into the ground. The promise stopped being a promise and became an address. That is what God does with his word. It does not expire. It does not evaporate. It does not get smaller with time or larger with expectation. It arrives, exactly as stated in exactly the right time, to exactly the people it was spoken over. Caleb waited 45 years for his mountain. He was 85 when he finally asked for it, just as strong, just as vigorous, still wanting the hardest thing God had promised him instead of something easier that was also available. The daughters of Zelophehad knew what Moses promised them, and they came to collect it, not angrily, not anxiously, just confidently. This was said, "We are here. Give us what was spoken over us." They got it. The word holds. It always has. The only question is whether you will still be standing when it arrives, or whether comfort and compromise have convinced you to settle for something smaller in the meantime. What has God spoken over your life that you have stopped expecting to receive? Are you still standing at the edge of your mountain? Or have you quietly accepted the valley because the wait has been too long? God was already in Jericho. He is already in whatever is in front of you. The walls haven't fallen yet. The scarlet cord is in the window. The commander is standing, not waiting for your plan, not endorsing your strategy, not taking your side, waiting for you. Take off your sandals and follow.